So hey guys, I don't know yet how I'm going to edit this video. Is it going to be one long video or is it going to be a bunch of different segments? It just kind of depends on how much I have to say about this stuff. I mean, I kind of wrote some notes down, key talking points and stuff, but we'll see. It all depends. Hey guys, Nathan Nile here to bring you the summer edition of Anime Corner. The spring edition was kind of awful, wasn't it? Yeah, this one's gonna be a lot better. I don't know if it'll necessarily make up for the last one, but it'll be better. And I'll start just by mentioning that every single anime I'm talking about can be found either on the Funimation website or Crunchyroll.com. So this was a pretty great simulcast so far. There were a lot of ones that I didn't look at, so obviously I can't talk about those, but you know, there are just a few of them that I just didn't see. I didn't watch No Game No Life, and just because of the timing, there were a few of them where like, oh, episode 1 premiered, but I was too busy with all this other shit, and so when episode 2 comes up, I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm just not watching that one. So these are all the simulcasts that I watched from beginning to end, starting with Majin Bone. So Majin Bone is a story about aliens. There's this teenage kid in Japan who suddenly he finds this card which is called a bone, and it gives him powers. It's kind of like a Power Ranger, I guess, and they fight aliens, which turns out they're not all aliens. Some of them are actually humans. It's hard to explain specifics, but it's a long, interesting story. And when I say long, I mean it's like 12 episodes, but it kind of feels like more. There's a lot of exposition. There is some good action. I definitely feel like the fighting improves as you go further along in the storyline. Anyways, Majin Bone, it's fun at times, and it's definitely an interesting one. I've enjoyed most of it. It's just not my favorite though. There were others I liked more. And then there was Selector Infected Wixoss, which the only thing I'm gonna say about this is, what the fuck, dude? When I first started seeing this, I thought, oh, this will be like a fun, interesting little game. It's about a bunch of girls. Someone randomly gets a card that talks to you, and oh, it turns out you're a selector, and you're automatically part of this game where if you win enough times, your wish will come true. But then it can be any wish you want, apparently or supposedly, whatever that may mean. Here's the thing though. The further you go along, you start learning there are all these rules attached to it. And a lot of those rules are total fucking bullshit. Watching this anime, the further it went along with the season, I just learned to hate it. I fucking hated this anime because shit got way too real. That being said, there is a second season, Selector Spread Wii-Kose, which is going to be airing. It's going to start like in August, I think, and I'm going to watch it just because I need to know how this ends. At the same time, though, if I could go back in time and stop myself from watching it, I would, because every episode seems to piss me off. But I can't stop now. Oh no, I'm in too deep. I'm caught up in the game. I can't leave now. Then there's Blade and Soul, which was definitely one of the more interesting animes. And the thing I enjoyed most about it though was the ending theme. I don't know. It was fun and exciting. I loved listening to it. This is an anime I'm willing to sit through the entire thing just to listen to that end credits, man. Show me Rainbow Akira! Blade and Soul, it's apparently like based off of Morpeg or something that's kind of like WoW, where you get to create your own customer character and then you go through and battle things. It's an interesting storyline. It's a little dark for my taste. I prefer lighthearted comedies and stuff, but it's still got it's got great fighting and it's a decent storyline. I mean, the biggest issue I really had with this, it's hard to watch for me personally, just because it is very dark. It goes kind of deep, and And also episode 13, it was the final episode. It was fun as hell. I enjoyed it, but that was more like an OVA that wasn't really tied into the storyline or anything. Yeah, Blade and Soul, it was a pretty intense one. I enjoyed it. If there was a second season, I would definitely watch it. But I think you just have to be into that kind of anime to watch it. Then there's Seikoku. No Doraguna, which is Dragonar Academy is the English title. And this one, I mean, the very first episode was really interesting and I was way into it. But I liked it a little less and less as it went on. I mean, it's an interesting storyline and it's a pretty fun anime. It's pretty lighthearted and comedic, and I enjoyed it. But I don't know, I didn't like how it ended personally. They went in a direction I wasn't expecting. I mean, I guess I could have expected it. I wasn't necessarily shocked. I just didn't like or agree with it. I mean, I loved the first half of it, liked the second half of it, and overall, I'd say, like, in this simulcast, it was maybe top 5. I think it was a pretty great show. It's just, I don't know. I have issues with it. And there's Kenzen Robo Daimidara, which the English translation is Daimidaler, the sound robot, and apparently it means sound as in like healthy or something like that. I don't know, but I mean that kind of makes sense if you think about it, because well, this story is basically they're fighting against an army of penguins who disgust them because they have front tails, and they go around with their front tails out being all rude and stuff, and all the adults of the country are all like, oh my god, that's so perverted, we've got to protect our children from this, so they decide they're going to kill all the penguins. In all honesty, this show, it's a comedy, and if you don't take it too seriously, you should be able to enjoy it, but there are a lot of things about it that just pissed me off. I mean, when I first saw it, I kind of loved it, but then I started to hate it. Then I loved it again, then I hated it, then the ending kind of saved it. I'm just going to say this much. The penguins are the evil ones in this story, but I was rooting for them for most of the series. Then you got Abarenbou kishi matsutarou. The English translation of that is rowdy sumo wrestler matsutarou, whatever. Okay, the very first episode, it just did nothing but piss me off because I fucking hated the main character, and I still kind of want him to fail. It can be fun at times, but I think it's just me. I think it's probably a great show, and I'm just being too sensitive. But yeah, I find it hard to enjoy a show when I absolutely hate the main character and I want him to fail. There's also Kanojo ga flag wo Oraretara, which is if her flag breaks, which, you know, the first couple episodes I wasn't that into it, but then as it started going along, it got very lighthearted and I started enjoying it more and more with every episode, until it got to the end where like the last 3 episodes it was like, I would just watch like episodes like 3 through 9 maybe, and that's an enjoyable series. Then you've got 2 that aired together, Orica Battle and Dragon Collection. I didn't like either of them too much. Orica Battle, the battle system confused me a little bit. But I mean overall it's just not one of my favorites. I don't ever plan on watching it again, to be honest with you. Dragon Collection, it's okay. It seems to be building towards something, so if this one continues, then I'll probably keep watching it. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on how much free time I have. Then you've got Gokukoku no Buryunhirude, which is Brynhildr in the darkness. This one's a dark fantasy one. It gets pretty real. There are people dying. There are magic powers. There's a lot of shit going on here, and I think it was a really great story, and I enjoyed parts of it. It wasn't really fun to watch. Like I said, me personally, I'm just more into comedy. This was not funny at all. Well, there were parts of it that made me laugh, but this one is it's dark fantasy, and it's a lot of shit. I mean, stuff goes down in this anime. That's all I can really say. I think it's an interesting storyline, and you probably should check it out. But at the same time, it's like, there are times when I find myself wishing I hadn't started watching it in the first place. Then you've got Akuma no Ridoru, Riddle Story of the Devil. The first episode was just confusing as shit. I had no idea what the story was really going to be about. Then the second episode, I was like, oh, okay, I see. And then I watched it, and, I enjoyed it for the type of story it was. It's an entire story about just a bunch of high school girls in a special class at a private academy, and they're all trying to kill each other. It is a dark fantasy, and for the type of story that it is, I did greatly enjoy it. It's not specifically my genre, but if you're into that kind of stuff, then I think this is definitely one you should check out. And then we're going to end it with my 3 favorites, which are in order, starting with number 3, Isshūkan Furenzu, 1 Week Friends, which it was just overall a very sweet anime. There's no action in it at all. It's about a girl who, at every Monday, her memories reset, and she just loses any good memories she's made with her friends. Which is just kind of weird, like, what, really? That makes no sense. You still remember your family, you remember all the bad things, but if you're friends with somebody and you enjoyed hanging out with them, you don't remember any of that. So it's about a guy who goes out of his way to try and be friends with her, and like the first week when her memories reset, she doesn't remember lunch at all, because she ate lunch with him every day that week. And so when she wakes up on Monday, all of her memories of lunch from last week are just completely gone. I would say that it's like the 50 First Dates, the anime, except that I never saw that movie, so I really don't know. But here's what I definitely can say. I enjoyed it. It was funny at times. And even when it got serious, it wasn't too serious that I didn't enjoy it. You uncover more secrets about why this happened, and I feel really bad for her, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the characters. They had some really great ones, and it was fun getting to know these people and watching them grow and develop with each episode. Like I said, overall, it's just a really sweet, touching, like heartfelt anime. If you're into that kind of thing, though, this will be fun. I think it's just very sweet, and it's about the special bond between these people. It was very boring at times, honestly, but mostly it was just a sweet anime, and it's just like, you get to watch these kids try to figure shit out, and it's just like, ah, so innocent. Then there's Black Bullet, and I enjoyed this from episode 1 all the way to the end. I mean, episode 4, honestly, that could have been the series finale, and I'd have been okay with it. It was a great series, and the action just improves as time goes by. It's a great storyline. I love, some of the characters I love, some of the characters I hate. There are times when I get really disappointed in the direction the storyline went. But overall, I'd say it's still a pretty great anime, and there's only one that I like better than this. I mean, this is one I definitely recommend anyone check out. It's funny at times, but like I said, it's got great action. And I think it's just an overall great anime with a tremendous and amazing storyline. And the only reason it's not number 1 is because the next one just knew how to touch me. And that's Haikyu! So Haikyu, it's the story about a guy who's a middle school kid, and he's really short, but he wants to be the setter on a volleyball team. He wants to be not the setter, the spiker. He wants to be the spiker. He wants to be the team's ace. He idolizes a player called the Little Giant, who was the team's ace, even though he was a midget. This one just touched my heart, and it got to me just because it reminded me so much of Whistle. If you haven't seen that one, go check it out as well. It's another sports anime. It's about a middle school player who loves the game of soccer, and so he goes to a school hoping to join the soccer club. It turns out he's really not that great at it. But he keeps fighting and keeps trying to improve his skills, and he keeps growing as a player. And so far, that's what I'm seeing with this anime. It's about this kid in middle school, and his middle school didn't even have a volleyball team. It wasn't until his final year that he finally got to ever play in a tournament because he finally had enough players to make a team, but they all sucked ass, and so he was the one saving grace, and they ended up losing badly. They just got whipped in the tournament, and then he becomes rivals with the opponent's player, with their star, but then his first day of high school, he's excited because he gets to be on an actual volleyball team, and he's joining the team that the little giant played for, that the guy that he grew up idolizing, hoping that he can become like him someday, only to find out that, oh, his teammate was the guy that he considered an arch rival that he dedicated his life to beating. And that's just episode 1. I mean, overall, it's just a fun anime. You see them growing and developing their skill level. It's another great sports anime. Like I said, it reminds me of things like Wixoss. Yeah, but this one's easily my favorite. It's just a nice little story, about a bunch of kids in high school who just love the game of volleyball, and they're working their asses off, training, trying to get better, trying to grow as individuals, and especially as a team. And it's only about halfway through right now. I saw episode, I think, 13, and I looked, and it says that there are 25 episodes scheduled, and I'm going to watch every single one of them, and hopefully there's going to be a second season with 25 more episodes, and then a third season with 25 more episodes. I mean, this is the one anime that, above all the rest, I look forward to seeing it every week, and I can't wait for more new episodes. So anyways, yeah. Bye!
Ta-ta.